of human achievements, goal setting, hard work, and dedication have been proven to be some of the elements towards success. The journey of remarkable individuals with lasting impact on the world are often filled with manifold stories, but through determination, they build their lives and make extraordinary contributions. Join me on the story of a trailblazer in business and philanthropy, Aigboje Aig-Imoukhuede, a lawyer turned banker who has done well for himself, made an indelible mark within the banking sector, and has continued in his ambition of touching lives within Nigeria and across Africa. Aigboje Aig-Imoukhuede. Within the Nigerian business space and philanthropy, few names resonate and are respected profoundly. Such is Aigboje Aig-Imoukhuede. If you're just watching, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great documentaries. Like, share, and comment. Known as a successful business mogul, banker, investor, and a philanthropist who cares about making difference, Aig-Imoukhuede's story is one of hard work, creativity, and a desire to drive positive change across Africa. Born to civil service parents on September 24, 1966 in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria, he hails from Sabongida Ora, Edo State. Aigboje spent his formative years with his parents in Lagos, where he had his primary education at St. Saviour's School. He enrolled into Federal Government College, Kaduna, and at age 16, he was admitted to study law at the University of Benin, where he graduated at a young age of 19 with a law degree, displaying early signs of his exceptional intellect and drive. Called to the Nigerian bar in 1987, he started his career in 1988 as a lawyer at Continental Merchant Bank during his National Youth Service Corps NYSC year. In 1991, he joined Guaranty Trust Bank PLC GT Bank, where he rose to prominence as an executive director. His big moment came in 2002 when he led the acquisition of Access Bank, turning it from a small regional bank into a big player, a banking powerhouse in the industry.
So one of the things that lawyers and law students will have you know is that the knowledge that they acquire from studying law makes them able to operate in various disciplines. Personally, I think it takes a lot of guts to study extensively as law students do. And that's not to say that people of other disciplines don't do the same thing as well. But law is time consuming. There are facts that cannot be changed. So you have to study what was written many years ago. So it takes a certain kind of discipline to go to school to study law and then be called to the Nigerian bar or any other bar, as a matter of fact. So I think that discipline carries on when they now venture into other projects in their lives. And it's not just Mr. Aig that has done this switch from law to banking. The late Otumba Shubumi Balogun himself was a lawyer and now made a move into merchant banking. So clearly there has to be something that bankers need from the legal side. I mean, if you are dealing with money and financial, there has to be legal regulations that go into it. So I think having a great knowledge of the law, which will have studied financial, policies and instruments and all whatnot, gives you a slight edge if you now want to move into the money market, which is what I think has happened for Mr. Aig thus far.
I think as a young man who was working in a finance company, with my boss then, I've had contact with him at Guaranty Trust Bank, where he started his career from. I've met him one or two occasions at that level when he was a senior manager, where we were looking for treasury instruments and forward placement far back. But then His background is law, and he has used the instrument of law to advance his practice in the banking sector. But in my view, what is more remarkable in his journey to success, and having made success of banking, particularly with the acquisition of former Intercontinental Bank, which is now Access Holding, and with some other business that is involved, Coronation group of company, comes to me as a very shrewd businessman, somebody that is professional in outlook, the way he has operated within that sector of the Nigerian economy. But in my view, I think his public advocacy in terms of public sector reform is more remarkable to me as a Nigerian that is committed to seeing reforms work in the public sector. So he has an initiative that he has run with one of the schools of government at the Oxford University in the UK that find a way to support young people, and they find a way to develop those young minds.
Throughout his career, Aig-Imoukhuede has taken on different leadership roles, including Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank until December 2013. He later became President of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and retired in 2017, but remains on the National Council. Bowing out of Access Bank, he was given a befitting send-off.
No man or combination of men could transform what we met in Access Bank in 2002 into what would cause this type of people to come and celebrate today. It's not possible.
His foresight and managerial acumen have brought him chairmanship and directorial roles in prominent organizations such as African Finance Corporation, Associated Discount House Limited, Petrolon Energy, among others, thereby contributing greatly to their growth and sustainability.
In every generation, there are outliers. There are people that are almost supernaturally inclined to do certain things, and that's not to remove the place of hard work. Now, if you look at how children today go to school, we tend to finish school early, like 19 and 20, right? So in an era that the average graduating age was, say, 22 and 23, and you have a guy that has graduated at 18 and 19, he naturally has a head start, you know, among his peers that will have gone to secondary school. But beyond that, genius, you know, it's not as important as hard work. You know, if you're a genius, yes, you might have that gift, but if you don't work hard at it, it's not going to drive you anywhere. For somebody to be this successful, it can't just be happenstance. It can't just be a gift. Yes, you might have the natural gift for learning quickly, for being brilliant, but if you do not study and apply yourself, there's no way that genius can shine through, which is what I think is the case, you know, with Aig at this point. So him having that head start played a role, but him also being aware of his brilliance and applying it appropriately plays a major role in some of his moves that you've seen. I'm sure there are other people that are graduated at that same age, 18, 19. In some cases, you might find 17, but how far have they gone in creating legacies such as this? How far have they gone in working on institutions that is going to outlive all of them? So those are some of the things that I think stand Aig apart, and the proof is in the work that is done thus far.
Hard work, they say, pays. Aigboje Aig-Imoukhuede's hard work earned him many awards and honors. He received the National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2009, conferred with Commander of the Order of the Niger CON in 2011 by the then President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, during his administration for contributing to banking and finance. As a visionary leader, he was installed into the E&Y World Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame in 2011 as the EY West Africa Entrepreneur of the Year and named African Banker of the Year in 2013. These amounting to how much others values his leadership and ideas. He got honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria. Beside his work, Aig-Imoukhuede also gives back to society. This philanthropist is involved in efforts to improve governance and healthcare across Africa through his Aig-Imoukhuede Foundation, making a positive impact on people's lives. He initiated the Adopt a Healthcare Facility program in 2019, and he is the chairman of ABC Health and director of the Private Sector Health Alliance of Nigeria.
He also had done some great work beyond advocacy in terms of actual initiative, particularly in the health sector, health service delivery across Africa. To me, is corporate social responsibility beyond just giving handouts to immediate community, in my view, is one of the greatest testimony that we can say of Imoukhuede in recent times. So it's somebody to be reckoned with. For me, what is unique and what is outstanding, which you can describe as one of the best Nigerian men of this generation that have impacted their immediate community, that have impacted Nigeria as a whole, and that they are impacting Africa, particularly in the reform which is undertaken in the public service in Nigeria. That initiative has done a lot of service delivery in the public sector.
He is the founder of Chairman of Coronation Capital Limited since 2015 and has contributed to the growth of the Coronation ecosystem. Coronation Capital Limited, with other arms of its businesses, also bettered Coronation Art Gallery in Lagos on the 13th of May 2022, a platform for showcasing exceptional works of art that embodied the essence of cultural significance and artistic expression. Aigboje Aig-Imoukhuede founded Coronation Art Gallery with the vision of democratizing art, foster appreciation and understanding for the artistic world, and making it accessible to a wider audience.
Bumi Augusto is, I knew Bumi when she was born. I know her parents, and I know all her siblings. She's a beautiful, wonderful, gifted Nigerian artist, and just like many of the others here. The piece behind me is a triptych, long throats, all up to longer throats. I actually thought that I was going to caption this collection. This is really a microcosm of my entire collection, but I was going to capture it longer throats because this represents a lot of this collecting I did during COVID. Many of these pieces actually were not in Nigeria. I brought them home. I'll tell you something. I'm known for collecting masters, the Enwonwus and the Yusuf Grillos and so on. I still do, okay? And I kind of stuck to that genre of classic. Those are the people who, when I was growing up, as I told you, those are the people who were my parents, either just older than them or contemporaries. So I grew up knowing these artists as my uncles, okay? So my first collecting was, from works, done by masters like that. After a while, these works are really priced in. But Bumi Augusto, her works, which may appear even a bit pricey now, in 10 years' time, So this is also hosted by Coronation, which are companies that are all about wealth creation. So there's also the investment angle. I don't collect for investments, but with all that these great Nigerian and African artists, the young ones, have been doing, and the way their prices have been rising, I've got to focus on investments now.
Even though he's not in the academics, I see some element of scholarship in him, in the way he drives his foundation in particular. And I've spoken to some of those aspects of Aig-Imoukhuede. I think for people to see how they can impact society based on evidence-based research that they believe in, and that if we go into a certain sector, have them make good of their professional calling and investing in some other sector. I do know for sure that they have a registrar department. I think they have insurance businesses, they have services businesses. Just shows a man that is driven by an uncommon knack for entrepreneurship and enterprise development. And I think it's one of the iconic Nigerian of this generation that will continue to impart in terms of mentoring, in terms of coaching, in terms of providing a leadership compass to the new generation. And to that, I salute his courage, I salute his resilience, and I salute his simplicity.
He collaborated with the Nigerian Civil Service to digitalize work processes and public service delivery in October 2021. Recognizing 43 public servants at the 2022 Civil Service Award ceremony on behalf of the Aig-Imoukhuede Foundation with an encouragement of cash prize worth 500,000 naira for each awardees.
A huge criticism of the Nigerian civil service is that civil servants are often disconnected from the nation building process. They just want to clock in, clock out. They have no vested interest beyond what the government pays them, per month. So if you are somebody that was restless as a young Aig was, you want to input some kind of change into it. Working as a civil servant ought to be a thing of pride, and it is. But for many countries, Nigeria being a prime example, the process of civil servants interfacing with their duties with government is often monotonous and boring and mundane. So if you were a smart person that had experienced it firsthand, as I suppose that Mr. Aig had seen it, it naturally falls on you to want to lend your brilliance to expediting the process of civil service. And it's incredible what he's been able to do, offering the services to the federal government, and also look at what he's doing with the art sector. It's not surprising because if his mom was curator of the National Museum, you can see how Ito has invested in art collections, not just for himself, but to give artists, an opening to display their talent, to show up their works, and ensure that the creative sector enjoys the same type of access and privilege that banking has come to enjoy thus far.
It is my understanding that annually 43 public servants will be recognized in this fashion, and so with effect from the 2022 Civil Service Awards ceremony, on behalf of the Aig-Imoukhuede Foundation, we will be putting an endowment with effect from this award session, whereby each awardee receives a cash prize of 500,000 naira. And in the interest of digital culture, the credits will go directly to your accounts.
Among his many certifications, affiliations, and fellowships, Aig-Imoukhuede holds Triumph MBA from the London School of Economics, New York University, and HEC Paris. He attended an executive management program at Harvard Business School in the year 2000, and he is a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, also appointed to the International Advisory Board of Oxford University's Blavatnik School of Government. Aig-Imoukhuede is a honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and had received an honorary doctorate of science from Olabisi Onabanjo University in 2018. Also honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria last year in a groundbreaking ceremony.
If the operators of our markets, of a nation's capital markets, are properly resourced in terms of skill, capacity, and conduct, nothing can stop that nation and its citizens from leaving the tarmac and moving from third world to first world. Nothing can stop it. The correlation between the advancement of financial markets and the advancement of national economies is perfect. It's not almost, it is perfect. And so, you understand why I have tied myself to the future of this market and why I have tried from the very word go that my voice was heard to get the public sector and the elite within the private sector to understand that we cannot ignore this market.
Aigboje is the first African co-chairman of the Global Business Coalition on Health and chairman of the Friends of the Global Fund, Africa. The business mogul has made significant donations to the Global Fund. He is the vice chairman of the Global Citizen Nigeria and creator of the Nigerian Solidarity Support Fund. There is always a story, or say many stories, behind every success, and this Aig-Imoukhuede has shared in a book called Leaving the Tarmac, Buying a Bank in Africa, Red Door 2020. In it, he talked about how he and others turned Access Bank into a major success, showing his determination and vision.
On a personal note, I think the first thing is that I left Access Bank. I retired as CEO in 2013, and I knew that I needed time off just to recharge my battery, so to speak. I didn't think I would have more than a year and a half before my perpetual motion character, kind of took over once again. And so I wanted to use that period as productively as possible. So I had a year and a half, and what better to do in a year and a half, than write a book. And for me, it was an opportunity, for posterity to tell the story to my children in a structured sense, because before then, I just hadn't had the opportunity to sit down with my kids and say, this is what I did today, or this is what I did yesterday, and these are the highs and the lows of this journey. Herbert and I went through a hell of an experience between 2002 and 2013, and for him that experience has continued. We learned so much, we were exposed to so many things. We had really, really great mountains that we climbed, we scaled some pretty high heights and so on. And in a sense, it would be very selfish of us to, lock this up in a box and not share it with others, because I think our experience, can be used by any other person who has an ambition to go out there and do, whatever it is they seek, whatever it is they dream about. And so the notion of writing for posterity and recording this period in my life, and probably more important, the notion of preparing a way for others, those are the things that drove me to write the book.
Aig-Imoukhuede, former managing director of Access Bank Group, returns to lead Access Holdings, replacing Abubakar Jimoh. His return after a decade aims to realize the shared vision of the late co-founder, Herbert Wigwe. Access Holdings PLC, trading under the Access Corp ticker on the Nigerian exchange, began to feel Aigboje's progressive impact as its stock value increased by 1.52% following his appointment as chairman. Aigboje Aig-Imoukhuede is back again. Aig-Imoukhuede is married to Ofovwe Aig-Imoukhuede. and has 4 children, namely Ohiozoje, Aima, Morenike, and Renown. He has been able to balance his family life with his professional achievements, setting an example as a leader and role model to many. He is an ordained minister of the Promised Land Ministry. In the annals of Nigerian business history, his story stands out, showcasing the power of vision, perseverance, and giving back to the community. From his humble beginnings to global recognition, he inspires others to dream big and make a difference. His legacy remains as he continues to make strides in business and philanthropy.